Hi everybody, Kelvin here from London, bringing you all the information I can on vintage hi-fi. What sounds good, what doesn't sound good. Some new stuff doesn't sound any good at all, particularly speakers. I have been playing with these, comparing to the ELAC Debut 6.2, is it? B62. These are miles better. I honestly don't know what they're doing in the world of speaker manufacture, particularly at the low end. I'm beginning to think they just don't care, honestly. Anyway, I care, right? So I'm going to talk about these. There's an awful lot to talk about here today because this speaker has been recapped, yes, by Ben at Freaking Audio. Freaking. I'll put the link in the description. So it's been recapped, and he says modified. Now, this is all very interesting because I can tell you that I did have, and I sold them because I didn't like them, more or less the same speaker, or the LS2A, which is a later model. This is the original model, I believe. Which has a different tweeter. The newer one, the LS2A, has a metal dome tweeter, and God, I didn't like it one little bit. It's like a nothing burger, the LS2A with the metal dome. This one with a different tweeter, and it's been tweaked, the crossover basically. It sounds really nice. I'm thoroughly enjoying this speaker. So, you know, it's just a kind of crazy world, hi-fi, but I'll try and elaborate a bit on these drivers. There's a lot of interesting stuff with these drivers, and then we'll go into the sound. What did I say? 1986 this speaker's from. I can't really get prices on what these go for, so I don't know. But these ones obviously have been recapped, so you know that would add cost, but they're not, you know, they're not LS35A, and they're a lower down. The LS7s that Rogers make go for about £400, which was bigger than this in the same range. But anyway, I have to leave the pricing of that to you. But let's talk about some interesting bits on this speaker, namely, I'll just this tweeter here, yeah. This tweeter you will see, and I've got one here, it's got the name Mission on it. This tweeter you will see in a lot of 80s speakers. Mission, Monitor Audio, this one, Rogers, and there'll be more that I can't think of, but when I see that tweeter, I kind of know, oh, that is a competent tweeter. It's not the brightest tweeter in the world, but it's a pretty refined, nice sounding tweeter. So, you know, when you see this, and I'm going to show you this one close up now, hopefully you're getting that, yes. Now that has the word Mission. Can you see that? Mission on it, but it's the same tweeter which Mission used. So, I mean, you just have to kind of recognize it by the size, the 3 screw holes, and the dome. You know, you can do that, you know, I can do that, it's totally doable. But that tweeter is always nice. It's just always good. It's not the killer tweeter, but it's good, you know. It doesn't annoy you as well. It's refined, it's nice. The other interesting bit is this driver, which is polypropylene, is based on this, which is the KEF B110. It's got the same chassis, which is all over the place in 70s and 80s speakers, yeah. Often used as a mid-range driver, but it is the bass driver in the Rogers LS35A, the famous BBC monitor that everyone really likes, including me, and goes for like, you know, £1,000 second hand. Okay, let's get into this sound. I'll do the sound general, and then I'll go into detail. It's kind of just a lot to talk about with this speaker, strangely. I also like the fact that it's got wooden veneer, yeah. And the LS2A the ones I had were just black and they had a kind of wood effect. I'm not sure if it was wood. And I always like to see veneer because I feel like it's like got a taut skin on the box. Do you know what I mean? Which it literally probably is chipboard or MDF with veneer on top. So that's a wooden skin. I always feel like it keeps things just a little bit tighter, you know? Okay, let's do this sound generally speaking, and then I'm going to go into some songs and some detail and some comparisons with other speakers, so you know where this stands amongst other speakers. And I've got to point out again, has been modified, so you know you'll have to bear that in mind. But I'm sure that this one will sound better than the LS2A, because that's just a superior tweeter, and the LS2A, it's got a metal dome tweeter. It's spiky. It's not very nice. And as I said, I had them and I really hated them. Okay, this speaker here, modified LS2 Rogers. It's just pleasing, right? I'm playing this. I'm enjoying it. It's not doing anything super wrong. It's not like an LS35A. It's not getting vocals dead on. It's not getting everything dead on. But it's generally pleasing and lively, you know. Now this is the thing I've said before, I'll say it again, with small speakers or even just speakers in general. They've got to give you something, right? Something in abundance, something that you can enjoy. In this case, it's a lively mid-range, yes? Like drums move around quick and nice, yeah? It's just basically kind of lively. And you can find, I'm sure you know, that some small speakers, they just don't do one thing good. They just don't do one thing good. And it's a total disappointment, you know. I'm kind of baffled why the world of speakers does not improve over time, you know. Cars have improved, computers have improved, cookers, fridges, whatever, loads of things have improved. They don't seem to build on their knowledge in speakers. I wish I knew what was going on, honestly. Maybe they're not, maybe they lose track of what's going on when they manufacture things in foreign countries, you know, like China, for instance. But I'm sure they make nice things in China too. Okay, it's generally pleasing. The bass isn't super well defined, but it's there, and it's sort of there in the right size and scale to allow that mid-range to be interesting, but not just it be all about the mid-range. Yeah, so the bass I wouldn't say is super well defined, but it's fine. It is totally fine, you know. It's better than the ELAC, I said that. Imaging, I wouldn't say it's incredible at imaging. You know, I'm comparing it with the LS35A, which is a much more expensive thing. That's when you get everything, getting it dead right. This is probably making a bit of a bigger sound than the LS35A, but everything is just not quite bing, you know, which you can't expect it to be. And you know, for any speakers you buy for £300 new, you won't get anything good. You know, to me, there's hardly anything good about them. So I'm being critical, but I'm, you know, I have to accept it's not an expensive speaker or a big speaker, you know. Okay, I basically like this sound. I'm enjoying it. It's lively. Let's do some songs. I would say, okay, let's have a look at this. Gravity, Alison Krauss, fantastic female vocalist. Vocal is good. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Maybe her voice is a little bit off, and I mean a little bit, you know. You don't get everything. It's not a £10,000 speaker. Money, Pink Floyd, you know, to me that's one of the, to me it's a seminal hi-fi test track, particularly the change thing, you know, dum, dum, psh. That's something I've always used to test hi-fi. Just great. It was just great on that, and nothing stuck out as wrong. Now, here's an interesting thing. I started playing a lot of Paul Weller. Yes, basically Wildwood, if you know that album, Wildwood by Paul Weller. Probably the last good album he's done, if you ask me, which is quite a long time ago, 90s, I think. His voice it's very full. It's got it's got a lot of tones in his voice, and I find his voice is very demanding on speakers. So if you want to, if there's not most speakers, you feel like his voice is a little bit wrong. It's just he's got high and low, it's simultaneously, it seems, as he sings. So I didn't think he did his voice justice on these speakers, to be frank with you. Too High, Stevie Wonder, lovely, super well produced, just lovely. I didn't have any problems, nothing annoying me. Okay, what else could I say? I like it. Compared to the LS35A, it's not super dissimilar, but everything is not quite as perfect. But it's a similar kind of scale of sound, size. Yes. Is it? Let me think. Have I covered everything? Polypropylene cone, which is different to that. That's a Bextrine cone. Let's try and see what happens here. I mean, that's in a box. It's going to make a difference. That polypropylene I would describe as a little bit more dead, if you know what I'm saying. And I would say this Bextrine will do a snare drum, which I'm mad about. I'm always listening for snare drums. That will get the kind of crack of the snare drum better, because it's a little bit more rigid, I guess, and shiny, and hard surfaced. That's a kind of, that's what affects sounds. There's some other speakers I'm going to review soon, and when you've seen lots of speakers, listened to lots of speakers, you can kind of look at them and you could probably tell what they're going to sound like. You can make a good guess that it's going to have a lack of mid-range or too much mid-range or this type of treble. Once you start knowing what the drivers are like and the materials, so that's a plastic dome tweeter. The later one had a metal dome tweeter. 80s, 90s metal dome tweeters were often spiky, sharp and spiky. The metal dome tweeter was kind of a new thing, and everyone wanted to use it no matter what. And the early ones, lots of them were just harsh, truly. Made in Britain, this one, 1986. I think that's about it. I should say I'm going to go down to see Ben at Freakin' Audio, and we're going to have a deep dive into the world of recapping. So this is a subject a lot of hi-fi people really want to know. So I will go down and talk to him. We'll really get to the bottom of what the benefits and how better it sounds, and what maybe he can do, because he kind of tweaks things too. Yes. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.